Question 1, what is the value of 9 over here? So take a look at the digit 9 in the tens place. The value is number 390. Arrange the following numbers from the smallest to the largest. From the smallest to the largest, I like to stack the numbers. So stack 5, 5.6, 5.06 like this. And then for the smallest one, there's no value here. So 5 is the smallest. Next, for the tens place, I've got 0 here. So that's not as big as 6. So rank 1, 2, and 3. In the number line, what is the mixed number represented by A? So what I tend to do usually for the first step is to take a look at the given numbers. In this case, it's 2 and 3. And then I'll count, okay, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 units represent 1. Because from 2 to 3, that's an increase of 1. And 5 units represent 1. So with this equation, I can find out 1 unit is 1/5. Now, then look at A. A is 2 units from 2. So I'm interested in 2 units, being 2/5. So add this 2/5 to 2 wholes. The answer therefore is 2 and 2/5. For question 4, find the sum of these two numbers and then round the answer to the nearest hundred. So let's find the sum first, shall we? So 305 plus 139 gets us 444. And then from here, to round this off to the nearest hundred, take a look at the hundreds place. Then look at the number on the right side of it. It's not 5 or above, so it doesn't round up, stays as 4. And what happens to the other two digits? They become zeros. So the answer is number 1. Number 5, 3 ones, 800ths, 1000th. Now take note of the TH, that is basically decimals right there. So I will write 8 over 100, 1 over 1000. If you know these as decimals, you will get 3 wholes, 0.08. Add them together, you should get this as your answer. Mrs. Nathan took half an hour, 30 minutes to drive. So I'm going to say half an hour because I noticed that the speed is given as kilometers per hour. So you can't use minutes and kph together. You should use kph together with hours. So distance is speed times time. So that's what we'll do. Time given is half an hour. Speed is 90 kph. Speed times time, therefore, is 90 divided by 2, 45 kilometers. Figure shows the semicircle of diameter 12 centimeters. What is the perimeter? So take note, the perimeter includes the length of the straight line. And leave your answer in terms of pi. So what we'll do is to find the circumference of a semicircle. So do not hesitate, write half straight away. Half times pi d, right? Pi times diameter d. Then we have to remember to add the diameter, basically, the straight line. So from here, 12 pi is basically 12 pi, and half of that is 6 pi. 6 pi plus this real number here, 12, and then put parentheses around it in centimeters. That's your answer. A school concert started at 3:40 p.m. and ended at this time. How long was the concert? We will use timelines. So 3:40, basically 1 hour later, that's 4:40. And to 5 p.m., that's another 20 minutes. From 5 to 5:25, that's 25 minutes. So just sum this together, you will arrive at 1 hour, 45 minutes. The answer is number 4. So given this diagram, I will highlight the straight lines, and here we go. And which of the following is true? So if you look at this as the straight line, then this entire x, y, and z should add up to 180, and that is number 4. Table shows the time taken by 4 students to complete a math test. One of them covered by an ink blot. So the average time taken by the 4 students was 72 minutes. So what I like to do is to say, since the average of 4 students was 72, the total of those 4 is basically 72 times 4. That's 288. And since we know these 3 numbers, we can sum them up, giving us 224. So the Anna's score, therefore, Anna's time, is therefore 288 minus 224. The answer is 64 minutes. Mary had $350. She spent the same amount of money each day. After 5 days, she was left with 4/5 of her money. So if she was left with 4/5, that means she spent 1/5. Yeah. So the first thing we will do is to say, all right, so in 5 days, 1/5 was spent. In 1 day, which is what we want, per day, it is 1 over 25. Now we can do this only because it is told to us that she spent the same amount of money each day. So basically, per day spending, just take this and divide by 5. So it's 1 over 25. Now, the actual dollar value though, right? Since 25 units is the $350 she had at first, what's 1 over 25 of that? So basically, you're going to divide that by 25. So the answer in dollar value terms is $14 per day. Another thing you can do is to just take 1 over 25 multiplied by 350. A repeated pattern is formed using the digits 1 and 0. So the first thing you want to do is to identify the pattern. And here, I've noticed that it goes 111, 111, 111. So in other words, in one group, we've got 5 numbers in one group. So to ask what is the sum of the first 99? So how many groups are there? So one group has 5 numbers. How many groups of 5 in 99? Well, the answer is I've got 19 groups of 5. And I've got a remainder of 4, which basically means the first 4 digits here. So what's the sum though? What's the sum in one group? So it's 1 plus 0 plus 0 plus 1 plus 1. Basically, the sum of one group is 3. If we know that there are 19 groups with 3 each, the total therefore is 19 times 3 plus the remainder 4 means let's add up the first 4 digits. 1 plus 0 plus 0 plus 1, which happens to be 2. The answer is 57 plus 2, the answer is 59. Mrs. Lim has a jug which contains 5 liters of water, so a big jug. She's going to take these 5 liters and fill some cups, each having a capacity of 4 or 5 liters. So basically, how many 4 or 5 liters are there in my 5-liter jug? Yeah, so that's a division problem, is it not? How many 4/5 are there in 5? So divide by 4/5, which if you know your fractions, you flip this to a times and then you reverse this ratio, this fraction. Okay, you got 25 over 4. Using long division, you will obtain this number here. But the question is asking how many such cups can she fill completely to the brim. That's 6 whole cups. The price of an e-dictionary was $45 after a 10% discount. So basically, this is 90% of the original price because this is after discount. Yeah. Rina was then given an additional discount of 9. What was the total percentage discount given to Rina for the e-dictionary? Oh, okay, so we can basically say that 90% of the usual price, because 10% off is $45, that means 90% of the usual price is $45. What's the usual price then? The usual price is 100%, that is $50. Okay, knowing that the total discount is basically $5 plus $9, yeah, there, $5 plus $9. The answer is there is $14 in total in discount. However, the question is asking for the percentage discount. So you got to take that $14 out of the original of $50, the usual price. So the total discount given is $14 out of the usual price. And with 50 being the denominator, that is awesome. You just need to multiply by 2, top and bottom, and you get 28%. In total. Fadila pours the same amount of water into 2 empty tanks. So the base areas are different here, so the height will actually be different. A is half filled with water. Whoa, A is half filled with water. We can actually find how much water there is over there. And it's the same amount of water. So whatever the volume here is, the volume will be here as well. Okay, so let's do this. Tank A is basically going to be half of the capacity, which is 840. That tells me the same 840 went into tank B. Now, what is the height though? So if the base area here is 8 times 10, which is 80 square centimeters, this is the base area. The height in tank B is simply the water coming in divided by the base area, which ends up being 10.5 cm. Write down all the common factors of 20 and 16 that are greater than 1. So let's make a list, shall we? The common factors first of 20 and 36. The common factors are 2, 4, 2, 4. That's it, right? But greater than 1. So basically that's 2, 4. We are not interested in 1. Square ACEG is made out of 4 triangles and 1 large triangle and 1 small square. So AB equals to BC equals to CD. What fraction is shaded? Now, when we are asked what fraction of the square, it would be ideal to have the basically the same unit shape. I don't want shapes that look different, like a square, like a small triangle, like a large triangle, no. So what I tend to do is to, since they tell me it's equal, so I can basically do this and tell myself I've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 unit shapes. So the total shape is 8. And what fraction is shaded? Well, that's 1, 2, 3. So 3/8 is shaded. Express 5 wholes and 4 over 11 as a decimal correct to 1 dp. Well, we know for sure that we can take 4 divided by 11. So I know my final answer has 5 holes. Yeah, so I just need to focus on 4 divided by 11, which is what this means, by the way. So you get 0.36. Knowing that we want 1 dp, which is this here, this 6 will round up to give me a 4 basically. So it's 5 holes, and this 6 causes this to round up, so 5.4 is the answer. A container contained, that's a horrible sentence, some water at first as shown below. Harry used 0.06 liters of water. Oh wow, goodness, I've got liters here, but the diagram shows milliliters. Some conversion is needed. Yeah. So I know I'm going to subtract. So let's find out how much water there was at first, shall we? So we've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. 7 out of 10 of this 500 ml. So what I did was to basically count the spaces. Yeah. So 10 units is 500. What's 7 of that? That's 350 at first. I'm going to subtract 0.06 liters, which basically means subtract 90. Did I just say 90? It's 60. So the answer is 290 ml. Since the question is asking us for liters, then convert this to liters, which is 0.29. Figure below, DFE, DFG are isosceles triangles. FD is, oh, let's mark that, absolutely. So FD and all that, just do this. And here you realize that with this being the base angle, then 35 shows up here as well. Find FDE, which is this angle right here. Okay, DFE basically is 35 times 2. This is a rule known as the external angle of a triangle. So you see these two angles inside the triangle, the sum of them is equal to this external triangle here. So we can say this is 35 times 2, 70. Now, since this is an isosceles triangle, we can find the base angle, is it not? So 180 minus 70 divided by 2. That gives me 110 divided by 2, that's 55 degrees. The figure below is made out of 5 identical rectangles. The breadth of one rectangle is 8 centimeters. The breadth is 1 centimeter. It's 8 centimeters. Hang on, if I know that this is 8, is this not 3/8? Yeah, which means I can find 2 lengths. See, 3 breadths is equivalent to 2 lengths. So we can do something about this. 8 times 3 is 24. Then this 24 halved is 12. So each length is 12. The area of the figure therefore is going to give me, I'm going to find one area multiplied by 5. Yeah, so basically 5 of these 12 by 8s. That gives me 480. Samantha has some blue, pink and white beads. 7 over 10 of the total are blue. So we can basically do this. 7 over 10 are blue, and that means pink and white are 3 over 10. 7 over 10, 3 over 10. There are twice as many pinks as whites. Hang on, with these 3 units, pinks twice. Isn't that pink 2 units and 1 unit exactly, making up 3 units? So hey, this is quite easy. What fraction is white? The answer is 1 over 10. AB sold an identical TV set, each at the same price. Okay, so what's the usual price of the TV set sold by A? Right, so it's the same price at the sale. This has a question mark, this doesn't. We can figure what this is. The usual price is 1500. So what's the sale price at 20% discount? Well, what's 80% of this price then? Okay, since 20% off is given, the sale price will be 80% of the usual price, which is 1200. From here, we can say this 40% discount, which means 60% paid, right? So 60% of that sale price from A is going to be this 1200 right here. From here, we can find the usual price, which is 100% of A, which is $2,000. Matthew spent a total of $15 on some rulers and pens. He bought 27 pens at 9 pence for Y dollars. Now that we can form an equation for. 9 pence for Y dollars. He bought 27. So 9 to 27, you multiply that by 3. So on the dollar side, that's 3Y dollars. And the total spent is $15. What's spent on rulers? 15 minus 3Y. So money spent on rulers is 15 minus 3Y. But at $2 each, how many rulers were there? You take this, divided by 2 each. This is the number of rulers he bought. Jason built a solid using 10 cubes glued together. 10 cubes. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Okay, so draw the top view. So pay attention to the top view. That's basically 1, 2, 3, 1, 2. Okay, so it's like an L shape, isn't it? 1, 2, 3, 1, 2. This is the top view. And not just that, you must take note that the front view, we are looking from this in front. So we are going to see 3 and then 3 to two more sticking out to the right of it. Two more sticking out to the right of it. So you have to pay attention not just to the top view, which is what they want, but also where's the front. Find the smallest number of unit cubes Jason can add to form a cubical solid. Now, a cubical solid has the same length. So the largest number here is 3, basically. See, 1, 2, 3 for the height, 1, 2, 3 for the breadth. Okay, so what's the total number of cubes anyway? The total number of cubes required is 3 by 3 by 3, that's 27. Now, since we have 10 existing, the number of additional cubes is 17. Figure below is made out of 4 identical quadrants, 1, 2, 3, 4, and a square. Now, because this is the radius of the quadrant, then this has to be 7 as well, which means we've got a 14 by 14 square. Yeah. Now, first thing, what is the area of shaded part? Well, the way I think about it is I find the area of the entire square minus the area of a circle. Why a circle? Because 4 quadrants make up 1 circle. So the unshaded area basically is area of 1 circle, which is pi r squared, or pi times r, since the radius is 7. We got 154. Now, what's the total area actually? Okay, that's 14 by 14, right? That's the area of the square. So the shaded area, therefore, is the difference, the whole square, minus the unshaded area. That gives us 42. Billy's house, the library, the market, and all these are located in the square grid below. Alright, so Billy is facing the pond. Billy is here. He's facing the pond. Alright, where will he be facing after he turns 135? Anti-clockwise. Anti-clockwise, 135. So 135 is made out of 45 and 90, right? So anti-clockwise, go up here, 45 degrees, and then go 90 degrees. That's basically the library, anti-clockwise. A shopping mall will be built southeast of Billy's house. So southeast of Billy's house is in this direction. Okay, and north of the school is in this direction. So the mall will basically be in this plot there. The diagram below shows 2 parallelograms. Alright, 45 degrees here, 60 degrees here. Find ABG. ABG. Now, this being a parallelogram, I've got 45 at this corner as well. Alright, next. This being 60, we know that, okay, ABG is therefore 45. Oh, we found that already. CBG though, we want CBG, which is basically this angle here. The next thing we can do is to say, alright, that's because AB is parallel to CD, then CBG must therefore be 180 minus 60 minus 45. Yeah. So, because this is a parallelogram, this must add up to 180. These 1, 2, 3 angles must add up to 180. So take 180 minus 60 minus 45, you will get CBG. The line graph shows the amount of water in the tank from 10 AM all the way to 2 PM. The tank was a quarter filled at the beginning, 10 AM. Water flowed out quite clearly. So this is not the amount of water used there, it's the amount of water left in the tank. So because what's left is getting lesser and lesser, yeah, water is flowing out the whole time. Okay, anyway, we first realized that we've got 1 liter per unit here. See, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 liters. So 1 unit, 1 liter. That basically means this is 25 plus 3. Therefore, we can first conclude that we've got 28 liters at first, and that's 1/4 of the capacity. Alright, next, first question. During which 1 hour interval was the flow of water the greatest? Okay, so count basically how many units was moved out, yeah, during each interval. From 10 to 11, we've got a decrease of 4 units. From 11 to 12, we've got a decrease of 10. 12 to 1, 11 units gone, 2 units gone. So, well, the time interval with the greatest flow coming out was therefore from 12 to 11. That's a decrease of 11. Sorry, 12 to 1 PM, decrease of 11. So 12 to 1, greatest outflow. At 11 AM, what fraction was filled with water? At 11 AM, what fraction was filled with water? Okay, so we can say therefore that 1/4 is 28. The whole capacity, is therefore 112. Yeah. So at 11 AM, what fraction was filled with water? Well, we can say that at 11 AM, that was 24 liters. Okay, at 11 AM. So 24 out of the total of 112. Okay, what fraction is that? In simplest form, 3/14. Pie chart shows how a group of students travel to school. So how they travel to school, 1/5 is written here. Anything else? Well, this is diameter, is it not? So this is 50%. And this is also 50%. In other words, car, school bus, the same. as public plus walk. Yeah, so represents the number of group of students traveled. Okay, all right. The number of students who travel school by public bus has not been drawn. So anyway, let's go through the first part here. Because of the numbers here, we can find out cars, 80 students, 150, 120. Since 1/5 went to school by car, we can conclude therefore that 1/5 basically represents 80. 5/5, which is the total population, that's 400, which means the first point is true, yeah, that there are 400 students altogether. Now, 3/5 walk to school, is that true? 3/5 of that, of basically the total, 3/5, that's 240. Now, does that mean they walk to school, 240 of them? No, actually it's less than that. It's only 150. So it's not true that 3/5, which is 240, walked to school. It's only 150. So this is false. 50 students take the public bus to school. So if we take the total of 400 minus 80 minus 50 minus 120, all right, we do get 50 left behind, which is the number of students who took the public bus. So it is true. So on to paper 2. Use all the digits here to form the greatest multiple of 5. Now, multiple of 5, the digit 5 here has to absolutely be in the ones place. And because we want the greatest possible, we'll start with 8. And then we have 4, 3, and 5 has to be the last one. Use all the digits 3, 4, 5, 8 to form the smallest odd number. So smallest possible, we'll start with 4 and then 3. And because we want the number to be odd, we can't afford to have 8 at the back here. 8 has to be shifted front, and the last digit here is 5. The answer is 4385. The number of red balloons is 2/11 of the blue balloons. So right off the bat, the left-right arrows, 2 units for reds, 11 for blues. There are 1953 more. So 2 units for reds, 11 for blues. The difference is 9 units, which represent the actual number 1953. That means how many reds are there? So we're interested in 2 units. So 2 9s of 1953 gives us 434. Of course, you can find 1 unit and then go on to 2 units. The figure is made out of an equilateral triangle. Now, the fact that this is 2W and this is a square, which means BC is also 2W, which means each of these sides is also 2Ws, as we can see here. The perimeter is 140, which means in total I've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 2Ws. So 5 2Ws is 10 Ws, that's 140. Find the value of W, just divide that by 10, you get 14 centimeters. In the square grid below, BC has been drawn. Draw a line parallel to line BC through the point A. So parallel, the first thing I want to do is to make sure the slope is the same, which means 4 units right, 2 units up. So passing through A, 4 units right, 2 units up. This would be the line parallel to BC. Passing through A. Next up, draw a right angle triangle BCD such that BC is equal to CD. Well, the lengths have to be the same. So what I will do is to say, okay, for B to C, right, that's 2 units up, 4 units. So same thing here, 2 units and 4 units. That ensures that the lengths are the same. Of course, you can and you should use your ruler or protractor to confirm that we've got a right angle here, and just label the point D and you're good. The graph shows the fare the taxi company charges for the first 10 kilometers of travel. So we know that the minimum cost here is, hang on, this is 2 units, that's $6, that's $3, right? So let's label the graph a little bit. We've got $3 and then $9, so on and so forth, yeah? So John took a taxi and traveled for 9 kilometers. How much did he have to pay? So if you draw this line here up from 9, you trace it up and hit the dollar portion here, you realize it's neither 27 exactly nor 30. In fact, I can probably say that it's about midway between 30 and 27. So what you can do is simply to add 30 and 27 and then half that. That's about $28.50, like halfway through here. Simon could buy 9 notebooks, 54 pencils for this price. With the same amount of money, he could buy 24 notebooks. Well, that's useful. He decided to buy only pencils. Okay, so the first thing we can do is to say, all right, 24 notebooks will cost this amount, yeah? Which means we can find the price of 1 notebook followed by 9 notebooks, which means 9 notebooks will cost $24.30, which means we can find the cost of those 54 pencils. So 54 pencils is therefore $64.80 minus $24.30. That would be our $40.50 for 54 pencils, one of which is 75 cents. So with this 64.80, how many pencils could Simon buy? So that's 64.80 divided by 75 cents, that's 86. Of course, you can't have 0.4 of a pencil, so the maximum is 86 pencils. Two machines X and Y cut shapes at the rate shown below. So X 12 pieces per second, Y 20 pieces every 3 seconds. That's a bit annoying, right? This is shown in a different rate. So per second would be a lot more useful, yeah? X started cutting at 8 o'clock and it stopped at 8:30. So that's half an hour. So we've got 30 minutes here, but we've got seconds here. Well, we can do something about it. That's half an hour. So every second produces 12 for X. So in 1 minute, that's 12 times 60. In 30 minutes, that would be 12 times 60 times 30. So we've got 21,600 here. All right. Now, what about the rate for Y? So 3 seconds, 20 pieces as shown here. That means in 60 seconds, also known as 1 minute, you multiply this by 20. How about in 45 minutes? Because Y cut shapes for 45 minutes. So this is per minute, this is 45 minutes. You multiply by 45, you get 18,000. Total cut would be this number plus this number, gets you this number. PQRS is a parallelogram. TSR, QVU, straight lines. We've got, definitely annotate this in case you have isosceles triangles, yeah, and you do actually. So let's do the annotation. We've got PTPS here, 68, which means the base angles are the same. Next, we've got another pair of equal lengths, which means if this is 62, this is 62 as well, okay? And we've got parallel lines here. Let's look at the first part, shall we? Find RSU, which is this angle right there. So what we can do is to say, all right, so RSU is this within this triangle. I've got 62 here and 62 here as the base angles. Well, in area of triangle, In a triangle, the sum is 180, so minus 2 62s is what we're going to do. We get 56 for the answer. Next up, UQR. UQR, we are curious about what UQR is. That's this angle right here. We've got SRQ equals to TSP equals to 68. Why? Because of corresponding angles. So if this is 68 and these two lines are in parallel, so this 68 will be 68 here as well. So within triangle QUR, we can take 180 minus 22 minus the sum of these two, we will obtain this angle here. So that's what we do. 180 minus 68 minus 62 minus 22, that's 28 degrees. Bar graph shows the number of cups of tea sold by a shop from June to September. The number of cups of tea shown is not on the scale. So it's not shown here. We shall count the units instead then. Yeah, this would be 3 units. This is 8 units, 11 and 4. Alright, so percentage increase in the number of cups of tea sold from July to August. So definitely there was an increase of 3 units, but out of what? Out of the 8 that we are comparing to. So 3 out of the original of 8. Okay, with 8 as a denominator, that's quite nice. Paper 2, use the calculator, you get 37.5%. Next up, the average number of cups of tea per month from June to Sep was 845. Hang on, June to September average is 845. Doesn't that mean that's over 4 months? So we can take the average multiplied by the number of months, we get the total. Now this is not cups, by the way. Oh, this is cups. Anyway, that tells me that all the units added together is equal to 26 units. That's 3380. So how many cups of tea sold in September? 4 units. So we can therefore find 4 units, giving us 520. In the figure below, the diameters of 3 different semicircles. So the small one, the medium one, and the big one right here. And then a right angled triangle, that's 12. AB is equal to 12. So this diameter is 12. BC is 16, okay, and AC is 20. Alright, so find the total area of the shaded parts. Okay, I've done some shading to help you better visualize. So we can find the area of these 2 green semicircles. Yes, why? We got the diameter, we can find the radiuses, right? Basically half times pi r squared for this, half times pi r squared for this. But what do we get if we subtract the unshaded area, which we have just found, 61? If we subtract the unshaded area, we will have these two areas, and then we just need to add the area of the triangle to get the answer, right? So basically these two semicircles minus the unshaded area of 61, these two, and we will obtain 96. So for the total area of the shaded parts, the final step will be to take that and add to the area of triangle, and that would be 192 right there. So this is 192. A, B, and C bought a present for their friend. The ratio of A to the total B and C was 3:5. Okay, so we can form a little bit of a ratio here. A is 3 units, B and C combined is 5. The total here is 8. Now the amount that C paid to total A and B, C to A and B is 2:3. Now, since we are talking about ABC and ABC, shouldn't the totals be the same? It can't be 8 and 5 at the same time, right? So let's turn the total to 40, shall we? So multiply by 5 and do multiplication by 5 accordingly. Multiply by 8, do the same on this side. Now that tells me, therefore, that A is 15 units, C is 16 units, and B can be found in two ways. So in this case, I'll just take 25 minus C, we get B, 9 units. Right, that's very nice. C, 21 more than B. So C, 21 more than B. That's a difference of 7 units, is it not? So therefore, 7 units is 21 actual dollars. 1 unit is 3. How much did she pay for the present? Now, who's this she over here? Who paid the least? Oh, who paid the least? For sure, it is the 9 unit one. That's gonna be, who's that? Beth, isn't it? Okay, and how much did she pay? So 9 units will therefore be 9 times 3, $27 for Beth. Mrs. Raja made some pineapple tarts and Nutella tarts. She sold 7/10. Okay, so 3/10 were not sold. 75% of those that were sold were Nutella. So this looks like a branch method question. So 7/10 was sold. Out of this number, 75% were Nutella. Another way of saying 25% were pineapple. And we are told that this is 350. 30% of the unsold were pineapple. The first thing I'll do is to say, right, if this is 25% of the remainder, that's 350. We can find 100%. Just multiply by 4. That's 1400. So this here is 1400. We can actually form an equation to find 3/10. So that means 7/10 is going to be 1400. 3/10, therefore, find 3 units, that's 600. This is the number of tarts unsold. And we are told 30% of this 600 were pineapple tarts. Okay, so how many pineapple tarts were not sold? So that basically will be 30%, which is 3/10 of this 600. And that is 1800. In a shop, erasers and pencils are sold only in boxes. So boxes of 3, $5.20 per box. Boxes of 5, $665 per box. Mr. Lim wants to get 40 erasers. Well, that's not a nice number. We've got boxes of 3, but this person wants 40. And 78 pencils. That's not a nice multiple of 5 either. So what's the least amount of money she needs to buy this? Well, let's take a look at how many 3s do we need to get 40. Well, that's 13 and 1/3. Now what that means is, if she gets 13 boxes, she's not going to get 40 erasers that she needs. She's going to get 39. So she needs one more box. Now she can't just buy one more, okay? She has to buy another box. So basically, she needs 14 boxes. Yeah, 13 is not good enough. She needs another one, 14 boxes. Next one, how many boxes of 5 in 78? Right, that's 15 and 3/5. Now that's not going to be enough. You need one more box, that's 16. So we got 14 boxes that cost $5.20 each. We got 16 boxes that cost $665 each. The total cost will be this. Mr. Wong spends this amount to buy a total of this number of boxes of erasers and pencils. Hang on, I don't know exactly how many erasers and pencils, but I know the total is 57 and the price is 328.30. This looks like a guess and check question. So if we look at this, boxes of erasers, each costs $5.20, each costs $665 for pencils. Now let's just make a guess. Just make sure the total is 57, yeah? So I'm going to guess 30 and 27. If you look at this, that's too much. Yeah, that's too much. So let's reduce, shall we? So which one is more expensive? The pencils, right? So we reduce this by 1. We increase the number of erasers, boxes of erasers by 1. Okay, now the price goes down by $1.45. So that's good. It's getting closer to our 328.3. So if you keep doing this, you will eventually arrive at 328.3. And because I did this, I found out that the difference is 580. And how many 145 is it? Because each step, each decrease is negative 1.45, right? So think of it as negative 1.45, negative 1.45, negative 1.45, negative 1.45. How many 1.45s do you need to decrease to get to 328.3? That's 4 of them. Obviously, you don't need to do this step. You can just keep going. It's just slower. Just keep subtracting, 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 subtracting. Eventually, you'll get the number of boxes of pencils to be 22. JKLM is a parallelogram folded along this line OP. Parallelogram. Find angle X. Well, because these two lines are parallel, I noticed that these two angles must add up to 180. Okay, so I can first do this. 180 minus 105 gives me 75. Angle X is found. Next, we shall find angle LOP. Now, because this is 105, we can take 180 minus this. That will be 75. And since this is folded, and these two angles are actually the same. So this 75, if we halve it, we will find there is 37.5 for each of these two angles. Because this corner here is 70 and it's a parallelogram, this other corner is also 70 when unfolded. That means this 70 is reflected right here. Okay, now to find angle LOP, which is this one, we'll just take 180 minus these two angles to give us the third angle. That's 72.5. Now, because there aren't two angles that are the same, LOP is not an isosceles triangle, definitely not. Yeah, and LP is not the same as PLO. Mrs. Sim baked some cookies and packed all the cookies in 14 small boxes and 3 large boxes. Any useful information there? Not really. She filled each small with the same number of cookies as each large. Alright, so there were 4 more in each large than each small. That's useful. 7/9 of the cookies were packed in small boxes. Oh, that means 7 units for smalls and 2 units for large. So the total is 9 units, yeah? Now this looks like a unit quantity question to me. So in small boxes, let's say we don't know the number of cookies, right? Just call it 1 unit. There are 4 more in the large box, so it's 1U plus 4. Next, in terms of quantity, there are 14 smalls and 3 larges. So hang on, what's the number of small cookies then? It's basically 14 units. What's the number of large boxes? 3 units of this, that's 3U plus 12. Now we are told that this is equal to 7 parts, the smalls, and 2 parts, the large. So what we can do therefore is to say 7 parts is 14 units, 1 part is 2 units. So just divide by 7. Therefore 2 parts is actually 4 units. Now we can form an equation here saying that 4U is therefore equal to exactly the same as 3U plus 12. Yeah, if 4U is equal to 3U plus 12, this tells me that this 1 unit here must be 12. The question is asking how many cookies were there in each small box? Isn't it 1 unit? We have just found the answer. It's 12. The figure shows an empty container. A tap was turned on and water flowed into the container. So it was empty. It's now filled at a rate of this liters per minute. The tap was turned off 6 minutes later. So I've got minutes, that's good. Now this shape here, this solid here looks like a combination of 2 different cuboids, yeah? And that's the way I would think about it. So I'll call this part A in green, right? This cuboid here. And then this cuboid here, I shall call it part B. Now, water is coming in to fill this empty tank. So, taking the flow rate 0.8 liters per minute, switched on for 6 minutes. That's a total of 4800 cubic centimeters flowing in. Now, let's find the volume of part A, shall we? It is basically length times breadth times height. So, 30 times 10 times 12. So part A is going to be completely filled because the water that came in that 6 minutes is more than the capacity of this green part A. Yeah, that means an outstanding of 1200, right? So 4800 minus 3600. This amount was occupying part B up here. Okay, so let's see what's the height, shall we? We've got base area of 60, 6 times 10. Base area. So base area times a mysterious height gives us 1200. We therefore can find that h is 20 centimeters. So basically, what is the height? It's going to be the entire 12 plus the 20 from part B. And therefore, the answer is 32 centimeters. All the water, now we know that all the water is 64800, was then poured into a cubical tank with a base area of 289. Now, because it's a cube, we can definitely find the height, shall we not? So the length is therefore 289 square root, that's 17 centimeters. Yeah, the capacity is therefore base area times height, 4913. Okay, now how much more water is needed to fill? Now the capacity minus 4800, you need 113 more to fill the cubical tank. 4 identical right-angled triangles. So if this is 9 cm, this is also 9 centimeters. And this is also 9 centimeters. They are all identical. Okay, the perimeter of the figure is 72. BC is 9. Okay, find the perimeter of each right-angled triangle. Each right-angled triangle. Well, the way I think about it is as such. Anyway, the perimeter is 72. Yeah, perimeter is basically highlighted here, and I've got 4 equal parts of the longest side of the triangle, and I got this second longest side subtracted by 9, highlighted as red. Now, given that the perimeter is 72, I can therefore say 4 greens and 4 reds, right? 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 4 reds and 4 pinks give me 72. Now, what's 1 red and 1 pink? I'll just divide that by 4. That's 18 centimeters. Now, do you notice that the perimeter of one triangle is basically 1 red, 1 green, and 2 nines? That is the perimeter of one such triangle. 1 green, 1 red, 2 nines. Therefore, it's going to be 18 plus 2 nines. That's 36. AC is shorter than the total, 6 cm shorter than the total lengths of AB and BC. Find the area of the figure. So for me, I'm going to draw a model. 6 cm shorter, 6 cm shorter. AC is 6 cm shorter than AB plus BC. Now, I can say the total is 36. Why? Because if you look at it, AC, and then we're talking about AB plus BC. Now, is that not the perimeter of one triangle, which we just found is 36? So with this information here, we can say, all right, what's AC? AC is basically 36 minus 6 divided by 2. So AC is actually 15. Okay, therefore, AB plus BC is 15 plus 6 is 21, which means AB is simply minus 9. So AB is simply 21 minus BC, because what's BC? BC is 9, isn't it? So AB is therefore 12. Now find the area of the figure. Now that we know AB is 12, that's the perpendicular height. BC is the base of the triangle, that's 9. So half times base times height. But we want the figure, so that's 4 of those triangles, right? So 1, 2, 3, 4. Therefore, the answer is 216 square centimeters. Congrats on finishing the paper.